Hey, welcome either to or back to my channel. What have you guys been up to? I've been working on writing some stuff for my, well, it's like a bigger writing project, but part of it is that I want the world to be playable. So, like, at the moment, I'm considering like what system I want to use, leaning towards Pathfinder, but still kind of low-key considering D&D 5th edition. Because it's gonna largely be homebrew, so I'm wondering to what extent I want to rely on any pre-existing system. I have previously tried making a couple versions of like my own system, but the rule book ended up being like 200 pages long, and none of my players wanted to read it. Um, so, I think it would probably be for the best if I can use something where there's lots of information readily available. And for that, I think people would probably have the easiest time with 5e, which is why I'm considering it. I don't know. Do any of you guys DM for tabletop role-playing games? What do you do? And what would you suggest for my case? I have I don't know if I want to say a lot of lore, but it's definitely enough that I don't think that any of my players would ever find everything, no matter how long they played. So there's that. And given that I have a good amount of setting material and like culture and history and whatnot, that kind of isn't really compatible with a lot of the stuff that you would find in 5e. Like, I don't know, what do you recommend? I think any which way I'm gonna have to make up like a lot of homebrew material for classes and magic and items and such, because almost nothing that exists like in your standard fare D&D as far as like magic and magical items go would really have a place in my world, because their magic works just completely differently. But I also, on the one hand, setting consistency to me and like roleplay potential is, I mean, that's pretty important to me, but I as the GM, I can't only care about myself, right? My players, I want them to have fun. And I think if I cut out too much stuff, it's gonna really risk not being fun. So I don't know. At least as far as magic goes, one idea I had was trying to pitch some sort of concept that the world that they're in has like a very weak connection to the weave. So, I mean, in Faerun, like the weave would be in everything, right? So that would make no sense to them for there to be a weak connection to the weave. But in my world, they how should I put this? It's like do you know about Psychomachia? Or the forms and like Platonic philosophy? The creation myth in my world is like something similar to like some of the creation myths found in the Levant or around Egypt. Like a sort of family tree of gods, so to speak, that would have predated the material world. And so in my world, the idea would be that things, phenomena, not just materials, but anything, wouldn't be made out of like fabrics of one god's magic, but there'd be many many sources of phenomena. I don't know if that necessarily precludes a weak connection with the weave, but Mistra would have no place in my setting. I would have none of the gods that you would normally find in a D&D setting. I don't really know where I'm going with this or if this is making any sense. I'm also not even 100% sure that my understanding of Mistra and the weave is correct. Low level nerd. don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just rambling. Maybe it would be good for me to like make plans or whatever with my videos. These past few days, I've been trying to think of a character for another group's game, of which I am not the DM. I have a couple ideas. Pretty vague concepts. One of them is like probably a pacifist. Probably. I haven't 100% decided yet, but I want them to be like a fisher and a chef, and their primary drive is to like find and cook with all sorts of different exotic ingredients and have their creations bolster the strength of their fellow adventurers. You know, kind of a sweet, simple sort of idea. My other idea would require a lot more thinking on my part. But I was thinking maybe like maybe to play a artificer and have them be enthralled with creating machines for war, and all sorts of dangerous related things. Wow, I described that very articulately. But you know, really play into like the mixture of magic and science. So have them use their inventions to create magic, which is, you know, the basic description of an artificer, and then you have their magic create inventions, or at least take part in them. For example, the Eldritch Cannon can spew out fire, and maybe they would create some sort of contraption where they can capture the thermal energy and convert it to, I don't know, kinetic energy. Let's say they use it to power a turbine, which will have like a gearbox to create like a massive amount of torque, and use that to like very slowly compress like really, really big springs. Because if you scale up a spring, you know, like a coil, then they start storing a pretty large amount of kinetic energy, and then, you know, have them maybe load these into like canisters so they can have like a really massively powerful reloadable cannon that just relies on like just these really massive springs, something like that. Or, you know, maybe well, I think that would have place in like a kind of medieval-esque fantasy setting, but depending on what we can do. Maybe I could have them, use spells that do lightning damage. Have that, like, I don't know, maybe have them perform like electrolysis and have them synthesize all sorts of chemical components, assuming that they would have any understanding of that. I mean, because the underlying principle of alchemy is, well, supposedly it would be chemistry, although I think in the case of like a D&D setting, that maybe it's not the case so much. Yeah. Ostensibly. Is that the correct usage of that word? Yeah, okay. Apparently, or purportedly, but perhaps not actually. Okay, cool. Good. Not just continuously using words incorrectly. Anyhow, yeah. Either cook or some sort of madman inventor. And those are some of the things I think would be fun to play with. I think the cook could be fun and also an inventive way, because I could try to get creative with the ingredients and components and, play into how I prepare them. I mean, I'm no Michelin star chef, but I am a home cook, so yeah, I could probably lean into the roleplay there fairly well. Man, I don't know if I'm even making any sense. I'm just saying shit. I'm gonna wrap it up. See you around. Oh, one of my viewers recommended that I do like a fade out, and I as you probably have realized, I don't edit my videos at all. So I don't know. I guess I could slide down the volume slider. I guess it's not gonna be super smooth. I'm probably not gonna do this again, but